Did you watch the previous episode's video? Welcome to this episode's story. Chapter 24, The Crisis and Turning Point of Reverse, Tames Spiritual Power. The moment Sumu grabbed the glowing object, a powerful and strange reverse, Tames spiritual power instantly surged into his body. This spiritual power was like a runaway wild horse, rampaging through his meridians. Wherever it passed, his meridians seemed to be scorched by a fierce fire, sending waves of intense pain. Sumu's vision went dark, and he almost fainted. The giant beast seemed to sense the change in Sumu. It stopped its attack, its eyes fixed firmly on Sumu, with a hint of doubt and vigilance in its eyes. At this moment, Sumu was fully engaged in fighting against the rampaging reverse, Tames spiritual power in his body, and had no time to pay attention to the giant beast's actions. The reverse, Tames spiritual power was surging wildly in Sumu's body, trying to break through his spiritual power defenses. Sumu gritted his teeth and circulated the original spiritual power in his body, attempting to guide this foreign reverse, Tames spiritual power along a specific meridian route to tame it. However, the reverse, Tames spiritual power was extremely wild and strongly resisted Sumu's guidance, and the two sides reached a stalemate. Beads of sweat as big as beans rolled down Sumu's forehead. His face turned as pale as paper, and his body trembled slightly due to the pain. But he knew in his heart that if he gave up the resistance, this reverse, Tames spiritual power might burst his body. During the intense confrontation with the reverse, Tames spiritual power, Sumu's consciousness gradually became blurred, and scenes of practicing with his grandfather in the past emerged in his mind. His grandfather's gentle yet firm voice rang in his ears. Moor, when facing a powerful spiritual power impact, keep your heart calm. Use your will to sense the flow of spiritual power and merge with it. Sumu took a deep breath and tried to calm his chaotic thoughts. He cast aside distractions and used his heart to feel the characteristics and flow patterns of the reverse, Tames spiritual power. Gradually, he discovered that although the reverse, Tames spiritual power was wild, it seemed to have its own unique rhythm, like an exciting but disorderly movement. Sumu attempted to adjust the rhythm of his own spiritual power to match that of the reverse, Tames spiritual power. This was a difficult attempt. The slightest mistake could lead to failure. But Sumu did not back down. His tenacious will, he guided the reverse, Tames spiritual power bit by bit. Just when Sumu was almost successful in taming the reverse, Tames spiritual power, another accident occurred. The giant beast seemed to sense Sumu's control over the reverse, Tames spiritual power. It let out an angry roar and launched an attack again. A black spiritual power wave rushed towards Sumu and hit him instantly. Sumu was already in a weakened state from fighting against the reverse, Tames spiritual power. This blow was too much for his body to bear, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The reverse, Tames spiritual power in his body, due to this sudden impact, got out of control again and rampaged even more wildly. Sumu closed his eyes in despair. Was he really going to die here? Just then, the glowing object in his hand suddenly emitted a soft light. The light enveloped his body, making him feel a trace of warmth and strength. An idea occurred to Sumu. He gathered his last bit of strength, and with the help of the light from the glowing object, tried to tame the reverse, Tames spiritual power again. This time, the reverse, Tames spiritual power seemed to be affected by the light and became a little more docile. Seizing this opportunity, Sumu exerted all his efforts to guide the reverse, Tames spiritual power to flow along a specific meridian route. With Sumu's unremitting efforts, the reverse, Tames spiritual power was finally gradually tamed and started to flow smoothly in his meridians. Sumu let out a long sigh of relief, filled with the joy of surviving a disaster. However, before he could relax, he noticed that the giant beast charged towards him again. At this time, Sumu had successfully tamed the reverse, Tames spiritual power, and his eyes revealed firmness and confidence. He decided to use the reverse, Tames spiritual power, to fight against the giant beast. Sumu circulated the reverse, Tames spiritual power, attempting to influence the time flow rate around him. At first, the effect was not obvious. But as he continuously injected spiritual power, the time flow rate around him began to change slightly. The giant beast's movements became sluggish. Each step it took seemed to take more time than before. Taking this opportunity, Sumo launched an attack. He brandished his spiritual power long sword and hacked at the giant beast. This time, due to the giant beast's sluggish movements, Sumu's attack crazily hit the target. The long sword struck the giant beast, splashing a shower of sparks, and the giant beast let out a painful howl. The attacked giant beast became even more enraged. It tried to speed up and break free from the influence of the time flow rate. But Sumu continuously adjusted the output of the reverse, time spiritual power, keeping the giant beast in a state of sluggish movement. Under Sumu's continuous attacks, wounds appeared on the giant beast's body, and blood kept flowing out. Its attacks became weaker and weaker. Finally, the giant beast let out an unwilling roar, crashed to the ground, and dissipated into a cloud of black smoke in the air. Sumu looked at the place where the giant beast had dissipated, filled with mixed emotions. This battle with the giant beast made him deeply realize the power and danger of the reverse, time spiritual power. At the same time, he also understood that in this world full of unknowns, there were more challenges waiting for him. Sumu put away his spiritual power long sword and carefully observed the glowing object in his hand. It was a small crystal ball with a golden thread slowly flowing inside, emitting a mysterious light. Sumu could feel that this crystal ball contained powerful power and might have some connection with the hero's power. Sumu put away the crystal ball and continued to explore in this circular space. He knew that he had taken an important step closer to finding the power left by the hero and uncovering the secrets of this world. The story continues, and more exciting content is yet to come. Subscribe as soon as possible.